All right, we got Mr. Broken Bones with us today. What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I seen your story. I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and so you went from 5'5" to 6 foot,
yeah.
and they said like the procedure is like a year long.
Nah. So the recovery is like a year long. The procedure takes about 3 months, but I did it twice, so it took me
Uh, why you have to do it twice for?
because so you can only reach a certain amount of height on like each part of your leg. So on my upper legs, I got 4 inches, and then on my lower legs, I got 3 inches.
Is it like your legs all right then if it's one longer than the other?
Nah, so it's like all lengthened at the same. Like both my upper legs are lengthened at the same time. Then both of my lower legs are lengthened at the same time. But when I just had my upper legs lengthened, I didn't notice too much of a discrepancy between like the proportions of my upper and lower legs.
Hmm. So you said it's gonna be a year long recovery, right?
Mm,
How far along are you now?
7 months.
7 months. So like, how does your legs feel? I see you walking and stuff.
Yeah.
And are you in pain or anything?
Nah. Once the devices like were removed that I was using to lengthen, I had like pain for like a week. Now the only pain I have is just muscle soreness when I work out too hard.
Yeah. So like, how did you hear about this procedure?
On Google, man, I just Googled like last year. I Googled how to get taller, and then it came up like limb lengthening, and I was like, okay, I'll do it.
You wasn't scared?
Not really. It's not much that I'm really scared of, and height has been an insecurity I wanted to get rid of my entire life, and I always like wished and prayed on just a way to get taller. And last year was the year I finally found an actual real result reason.
Do you said that height was insecurity for you. Like, do you have like short parents?
Nah, my dad is like 6'1", 6 foot 6'1", and most of the men on my dad's side of the family are very tall. My mother's only 4'11" though.
So you took after her side?
Yeah,
You got brothers?
yeah.
How they came out?
They all was pretty much floating around my old height.
Oh, there's all 5'5"?
Yeah, 5'4",
Uh,
5.
yeah, that's
Actually, youngest brother is the tallest now at 5'6".
God, dog.
Yeah,
So you say your mama 4'11", like everybody on her side, they short too? Like they're like five.
most majority. Just I can't really think of any men on her side of the family that's tall.
So like, growing up, right? Like, everybody always like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the NBA or NFL.
Mm.
And you don't really think about like the height. Like you don't really think about like all these dudes are like 6'5" and are like 6 feet and above. Like how when did you know like damn man, I might not make it to that height?
So I was never really. I loved to play sports in school. I didn't play like on any teams because I was short, but I loved to play like just in my spare time. But I never had any dreams of going like pro with any sports. But I knew I wasn't gonna continue growing maybe around like 10th or 11th grade when I noticed like because I hit my growth spurt very early and I only hit one growth spurt. So I hit my growth spurt in like fifth grade, and then around seventh grade, everybody started catching up to me and passing me. But then in high school, everybody just shot up. Like so, I
Yeah.
know my friends that I continued through high school with, or middle school through high school, they hit like two growth spurts.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I'm around 5'11", 6 foot,
Yeah.
and I was like pretty sure. I started growing like maybe eighth grade or whatever. And I remember like when I was on the basketball team, like elementary, middle school, we had this guy. He's like the best player. He was like 5'5". He's like a grown man out there. But in elementary school, everybody's like 5 foot, 5'1".
Yeah.
Ain't nobody that tall. This dude, man, he was like all star, 5'6". So he never grew after that. You
Yeah,
know.
that was pretty much the situation for me. Like I enjoyed it for that 2 year period, and then everybody else just took off, man.
Yeah. And interesting thing about your story, like I seen your story, and then my sister sent it to me because I have a nephew. He's like 5'8", 5'9", and he wants to get taller because he wants to go pro in either football or basketball. So he was interested in your story too. So that's what made me like, yeah, I want to reach out to him and stuff. And I also read in the article it was like would you rejected by a woman too, or that they just made that part
So
up?
that it wasn't made up, but the story wasn't taken in context. I was asked, was I ever rejected because of my height? And I was like, yeah, like once in high school in like ninth grade, this girl I had a crush on like rejected me, and she said it was because I was too short. But I ended up getting with her after I graduated high school.
So it didn't really matter after a while.
Don't get me wrong, the short comment, because I had, this was probably my biggest high school crush at the time. So it definitely hit me when she said it, like when she, because it was like a joke. Like her and a friend came up to me and was like, because she was older than me too. They was like, "Oh, if you were taller and you were older," and then they went off laughing. It kind of hit my ego a little bit because that was at that point that was the first time I had been called short, and then
Yeah.
after it became like a continuous thing.
Dang. So like I've been out the dating game for a while. So how's like dating like before you had the surgery?
So the thing is, my dating life initially, like in the beginning stages, was always good. I've never really had a problem getting dates, but I've always had a problem like keeping women for long periods of time, but not really because of my height, because of other things that I was struggling with before in the past.
Hmm.
But those insecurities and other things that I struggle with, past trauma that I hadn't healed from, it would seep out in the relationship. So I like could get women without too much of a hassle, but I just couldn't keep them.
Do you still have them insecurities, or you got better?
So beyond just height, I spent this year trying to work on myself, trying to heal through different things that I went through as a child, and really putting a lot of effort into growing into more of a man. So I've overcome a lot of my insecurities, a lot of issues that I struggle with, and I've grown as a person, not just in height.
That's great, man. Well, how did your family react to the surgery?
On my dad's side, they didn't seem to care too much. They was just like thought it was crazy that I did it. But like I said, all the men on my dad, it's like taller men don't seem to understand, like because most of the men that are taller don't understand why I did it.
Yeah,
But my mom's side, which is the short side, they all think it's like the greatest thing ever. They're glad I did it. A lot of men, like not just in my family, but a lot of friends on my mom's side of the family wish they could do it. They wish they, had the opportunity and availability. But like I said, my dad's side just didn't have a reaction.
that's dope, man. So like, how do people like that read your article? How they been messaging you about it? Like people that's curious about it.
In the beginning, a lot of people just made jokes and like would message me like, "Oh, you're such a loser. Just drink milk" or something like that, and I would just laugh and not respond. But okay, give me a second. Give me a second. We talk about this every. Give me a second, okay? Sorry about that. But yeah, in the beginning, like it was all jokes and all laughter. Now that my story's gotten so large and people are hearing more of my story, getting a lot of better feedback. A lot of men text me, like a lot of men be like, "Oh, you're a huge inspiration, man. I wish I could do what you did." And just asking like, how can they do it? How to prepare? How to save up? Things of that nature.
That's dope, man. Shoot. Like so what's next for you, man?
Right now, so I'm new to social media. I wasn't really into social media until I got into this whole surgery thing because I wanted to share my story with other men because while I was in the center, so many men had the same feeling as me, and like we all just wanted to keep it private and just reintegrate back into the world. But me going from 5'5" to 6 foot, I was like, it's impossible for me to like go back and will not know that I did this. So I was like, I'll share my story. Right now, I'm working on a lot of things. Like I didn't know it would get as big as it did, but I'm doing interviews all over the place. I've started working on a book that I'm calling Behind the Scenes, which tells the story of how I even got to this point and what I struggled with.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a full-time artist currently, so I'm working on music and just really trying to get everything in order while I have this momentum.
Yeah, that sounds good. What kind of music you make?
I do rap.
Rapping.
Yeah.
You got an album out?
Nah, I only have one music video out that I put out like a little over a year ago. But after that, my momentum completely died down. So now I have a lot of stuff written. It's just all getting in the studio and recording, which I'm working on now with my free time.
I'm gonna have to check that out, man.
Oh yeah, it's coming soon, man. I'll be dropping my first couple songs this month, and then after that, it's just keeping the ball rolling.
I think I read in the article that you a military vet too.
Yeah,
Or what service? What branch you was in?
I was in the Navy
How long you served?
8 years.
8 years. That's cool, man. How was it?
It was it had its ups and downs. So I spent 3 years with the actual Navy and 3 years with the Marine Corps, like because I segregated from the Navy into the Marine Corps, but I was still Navy. I was just with the Marines. So I spent 3 years in the Navy. I spent 5 years with the Marine Corps, and it had its ups and downs, but I loved it overall because it helped build me into a better person, and it kind of like spearheaded this whole journey for me in the first place. Because after I got out the military, I kind of lost myself and didn't know who I was, and I suffered through a lot of different things like depression, PTSD. I struggled through drug and alcohol addiction for a little while, and I just wasn't happy with the man that I saw in the mirror. So I decided to change my life as much as I could.
Dang, man. Well, I'm glad you're getting better now. How old are you?
27.
27? Shit, you younger than me.
Yeah, man. Every time I interview, they like, "Oh, you still a baby?"
I knew you wasn't that old. I knew you wasn't old. 27. But I appreciate you talking to me, man. You got anything else you want to say?
One thing I say to not even just men, but men, women, whoever, children, is you got to do the things in life that make you happy, no matter what nobody say. Because what encouraged me to share my story is something I heard while I was reading it, and it said people are gonna judge you no matter what you do. They're gonna laugh at you whether you do what you want to do or whether you do what you think you should be doing. So always just do what make you happy and what you think is gonna prepare your life to the next level.
It's facts, man. It's facts. And where you from?
Originally from Chicago, but
Chicago.
in Chicago and Georgia.
You live in Georgia now?
Yeah,
You in Atlanta?
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. You 2 hours from me.
Nice. There's like everybody out here. Is Atlanta the place to be right now?
I hate the traffic, man.
Yeah, yeah. Fortunately, I stay in the house a lot right now just because I'm doing recovery. So it's the gym and home for me.
I stay like you know where Augusta at?
Yeah.
So I'm close. I'm close to that, like 20
Okay.
minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ain't shit to do out here.
Yeah. You're not too far, man.
Yeah. But like you said that, yeah, you're saying like height wasn't really the reason, like your relationships you had have issues or whatever. Like, what's the dating scene for you now?
So the last year that I began working on myself, I've been celibate for the last year. So I'm holding off on dating until I really get to where I want to be in life. Especially because, like I said, I have all this momentum that I've built up. It's all about using it. Daniel, Daniel, you know better. Go, go ahead. What I said. So right now, it's all about just staying as focused as possible. And unfortunately, I'm very easily distracted when it comes to taking that break from them.
So, well, like, what's the longest relationship you had?
On and off, like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Shoot. Also, the surgery cost $81,000, right? Did they like want the money up front, or they do like payments?
So unfortunately, they don't do payments. You have to pay the full amount the day before the surgery. Some people, if you can really, really like hit their heartstrings, they may let you like pay like maybe half now and half like I don't know exactly what some people were able to like really finesse, But overall, they don't take payments. They take the full like package.
So they want the whole 81,000.
So for me, they broke it up because I did surgery twice. But before each surgery, I paid the 40,000 and then 40,000.
And how much like you doing like you doing like kind of like rehab, right? Or are you just going to the gym?
Well, now I'm just going to the gym, but I was in rehab for the 6 months that I was there. I did the surgery in Istanbul, Turkey.
Did they charge you for the rehab too?
So you get 36 rehab sessions per package. So maybe you'll do like in that 3 months, you'll do like 3 to 4 a week. In the first like 2 weeks, you do it every day, and then after that, it's like 3 to 4 times a week. But yes, you can buy more rehab, which for me, I chose to do rehab every day I was there.
Well, that's dope, man. I thank you coming on here talking to me. I
No problem.
I didn't know you was gonna be able to do it today. I know you busy as hell.
Yeah, I've been pushing like unintentionally like pushing you off for a minute because it's like always something. You see, I have my daughter and I have a million different things going on, so I really have to like put everything in my schedule. But today I made sure I cut out a time slot to do it because I told you I would.
And I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's no problem, man.
All right, before you go, man, who you listening to right now? Like, what rappers you listening to?
All right, so my top right now is Polo G, Lil Durk, of course, the Chicago artist, and Rod Wave.
Rod Wave.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like him because he's too emotional, but hey, he right up my alley, man. He definitely in my top 5 favorite like artists. He definitely my top 5.
I love Rod Wave too, but I feel like he make amazing music, but I feel like his music can put you in a mood. Like you can get sad listening to Rod Wave.
So for me, it's more so reflection on my life because it helps me write like something. So whatever I'm listening to puts me, like you said, in the mood, and it helps me reflect on my own life and help me get in like that era of like writing my own music. So a lot of my music is not necessarily emotional, but the emotional songs I do write, like I'll listen to some Rod Wave or some along those lines before I write it to really get in that thought process.
Do you have like a favorite album that came out this year?
Since I've been gone the last 6 months and I just got back last month, I haven't really been too deep into like new music. So all my music is still from last year and prior.
Shoot, like my favorite album so far that I listened to is Killer Mike. He got an album called Michael.
I'm not even familiar with the artist.
You don't know Killer Mike? Killer Mike, he's like from the Dungeon family. Like he's like with Outkast and Goody Mob.
Yeah, I probably know the face then.
He's like he had a TV show on Netflix where he's like going around eating barbecue and shit.
Yeah, that's why I said I probably know the face.
Yeah. You don't remember a couple years ago, it was like a black guy running around with Bernie Sanders? You remember that?
Nah, I don't.
All right. But yeah, you definitely check him out. He's spinning some like deep shit on there on his album.
Yeah, as you can tell, the artists I listen to, like I like to really dive into it. I don't really listen to music for the enjoyment of listening to music. I'm a person that enjoys to hear the stories that people tell.
Yeah. But man, I appreciate you talking to me, man. And you had an interesting story, man. I enjoyed talking to you.
Man, no sweat. You reach out.
All right, man. Talk to you later, man.
All right, man.